Dear colleagues, my name is Emanuele Rondonotti. I'm gastroenterologist at Gastroenterology Unit at Valduce Hospital in Como, Italy. I would like to thank you for watching this commentary on our recent paper, which is entitled Artificial Intelligence Assisted Optical Diagnosis for Resect-and-Discard Strategy in Clinical Practice, ABC study. The implementation of clinical strategies based on optical diagnosis of diminutive colorectal polyps may lead to substantial economic savings. However, optical diagnosis is perceived as a difficult task. It is an operator-dependent process, and accuracy values reported in the community setting are highly variable across endoscopists, and frequently they fall below the safety thresholds proposed for their incorporation into clinical practice. In this setting, the use of an AI automatic image analysis computerized system, the so-called CAD-X system, has the potential to facilitate the endoscopist evaluation, making the optical characterization, namely the distinction between neoplastic and non-neoplastic polyps, easy, quick, but particularly more reliable and more objective. Recently, in a study from Mori and colleagues, an endocytoscopy-based CAD-X system achieved the PD1 threshold proposed by ESGE for a safe incorporation of the system into clinical practice, meaning a negative predictive value for adenomatous histology of diminutive rectosigmoid polyps higher than 90%. However, endocytoscopy is not widespread in Western countries, and it requires dedicated equipment and special skills that are not widely available in community practice. In our study, we evaluated the performances of a completely new CAD-X system that provides real-time polyp characterization with standard endoscopy by using blue light for the evaluation of polyp superficial features. The study was primarily aimed at prospectively evaluating whether the endoscopist assisted by CAD-X could achieve the PV safety threshold proposed by ESGE. From a practical point of view, when a diminutive rectosigmoid polyp was identified during a standard white light colonoscopy, the blue light was switched on and the endoscopist made his own polyp characterization by categorizing the polyp as adenoma or non-adenoma. Then the CAD-X system was activated and the CAD-X provided its own output as adenoma or non-adenoma. And finally, again, the endoscopist, combining its own initial evaluation and the output from the CAD-X, provided a final polyp characterization, again classifying the polyp as an adenoma or a non-adenoma. This final combined evaluation was then compared with the pathology result, which was the reference standard in the current study. We included in our study 596 diminutive rectosigmoid polyps. Our data shows that in a clinical practice setting, real-time AI-assisted optical diagnosis without endocytoscopy and without magnification was feasible in more than 90% of polyps, and most importantly, it was effective in reaching required thresholds, since the negative predictive value combining endoscopist and CAD-X evaluation was 91%. In addition, the post-polypectomy surveillance interval based on AI-assisted optical diagnosis was correctly advised in more than 90% of cases, namely 97.4% and 92.6% of patients according to ESGE and United States Multi-Society Task Force recommendations, respectively. Nevertheless, looking at the endoscopist's performances before activating CAD-X, we found that the negative predictive value for adenomatous histology was already over 90%, thus putting into question the actual contribution of CAD-X in the optical diagnostic process. Interestingly, these data are closely similar to those recently published by Mori and colleagues on New England Journal of Medicine. However, these results were not completely unexpected in our study, since approximately 2/3 of the optical diagnoses were performed by expert endoscopists, who have been shown to match PV criteria irrespectively of the use of AI, even in previous studies. On the other hand, when focusing on non-experts, our exploratory analysis showed a favorable trend in terms of NPV and accuracy, and also a relatively short learning curve for non-experts endoscopists, who quickly approach expert performances over time. According to our data, real-time CADX-assisted optical diagnosis appears to be feasible in clinical practice. In the optical diagnostic process, the additional benefit of CADX system appears to be marginal for experts, but it might help non-experts to meet clinically relevant thresholds. Further larger studies, mostly involving non-experts and combining CAD system for both detection and characterization, are expected in the near future. Finally, I would like to thank all the authors participating in this study for their contribution, as well as all of you for your kind attention. Many thanks.